Like that's the change that has to be made. You need a bunch of new guys. And I want us to visualize two levers, right? Like maybe like on a soundboard, like a dial, you go up and down, one high or low, like a thermometer, a temperature gauge, right? And you have coaching and you have player personnel execution, right? They both are down here right now. I don't think anybody's disagreeing with that. They're both not doing well. They're both turned down real low. Theoretically, you can change Mike Vrabel coaching down here low into whatever your personal idea of the perfect coach for this Titans team right now, the guy that would get the most juice out of the squeeze with this current situation. Okay, so we turn that coaching dial up all the way. We get that best guy in there, and you've still got what you've got, player personnel. What's the increase? Is it 25% better team? 30% better performance? Like what? How much more are you getting out of this squad? Okay, it's marginal, but it's some, right? Okay, so let's turn coaching back down. It's still Vrabel. You still got Vrabel, but you turn the player personnel execution dial all the way up, right? You get rid of the bums on this team. You add a bunch of guys that can ball. What's the ceiling there? It's 300, 400, 500% better than what the Titans are currently doing. Like that's the solution. You've got to get new guys. And as I'm not going to force everybody to listen to me parrot all of the things that I said about Mike Vrabel and his hot seat last week, but I'm here to tell you all of those thoughts I had then, they still apply now. Now, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Mike Vrabel is not a great coach. I've been wrong before. I'll be wrong again. What I'm going to say though is this situation is not coaching right now. This situation is this roster plainly and obviously sucks. And I've had some folks push back on me like this team's 3-14 in their last 17 games. They're not that bad. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Like, look, use your eyeballs. Watch. They are so clearly and obviously that bad. Now, am I saying that everybody on the team is this? No, of course. There are some really good players on this team. Really, really good. But football is a team sport. It requires 22 individuals on either side of the ball and specialists in order for you to not have any holes that other teams can exploit. And this Titans team, while they're not terrible top to bottom, the quantity and quality of the holes on their roster are thus that they have real issues each and every week, that they aren't going to really get this ship to sail. It's going to sink. Like they've got too many cannonball gouges in the side of their ship of such a diameter that teams are running right through them. Teams are throwing right through them. Teams are defending them with ease. Teams are scoring so many more points than them, and it's not that difficult. Like that's where this team is at right now, and that is a player personnel execution situation. And because of that, Mike Vrabel, who is a solid, good coach at worst, as demonstrated by the 6 years he's been here. Don't be a prisoner of the moment. Try to take your fan brain hat off for a minute and look at what he's done. Okay, he came in, inherited a Titans team that had 9 wins, had 2 consecutive 9-win seasons after that. I think everybody agreed in those seasons he was doing more with less in those seasons, right? Some of those Marcus teams were tough, but they won 9 games. Then he had 2 really good seasons. What was it, 11 and 12 wins the next 2 seasons? And won the division twice. And then now he's on last season, started out really strong, fell apart down the back half of the stretch, largely due to injuries and lack of talent. And then this season, he's having a downright bad season with a downright bad roster, right? So taking his career, that whole thing as the whole of its parts, the sum of its parts, he is at worst, solid to good coach, right? That's really hard to come by in the NFL. Can you do better? Sure, you can do better. Sure, you can. Are you going to if you fire him and go hire somebody else? Ben Johnson being thrown around. And listen, I love Ben Johnson, offensive coordinator for the Lions. See, dude's a baller. I'm looking forward to him getting a head coaching opportunity. I like what he's doing. But if you want to look at his resume right now as a coordinator, as a play caller, it's practically a carbon copy of one Mr. Adam Gase. And we saw how that turned out. That's just one of thousands of instances, thousands of examples that I can point to and say the grass is so often not greener on the other side with head coaching. You got to play the numbers here. And Mike Vrabel is a good coach. That is why I'm not saying he's untouchable. I'm not saying he's infallible. I started the show today, JT, did I not? Saying that that was very bad. He did some bad things. It's inexcusable. I'm frustrated. Like this is the binary. We're always talking about how the internet forces binaries on us and tries to convince our brains, our malleable little monkey brains, that it's one thing or another. It's X's or O's, it's O's and ones, right? In reality, it's there's a gray area. And the binary of the week right now for Titans fans is, well, you either, with coaching in the NFL, it's either you're happy with the guy and you're cheering him on, and you're like, this guy rocks, or he needs to be fired. It's one of those, either he's doing well or he needs to be unemployed. Like, that's the binary that's being pushed on us right now. I don't understand this idea that you can't criticize a coach like really heavily, be really frustrated with what he's doing in certain situations, and also recognize, I don't think firing this guy is best for the long-term to near-term future of this franchise.